reaction series. And if you want to follow along, head to dailydoots.com, designed and produced by our very own Hanniabu. And while you're at it, go grab today's POAP. Big thanks to Turkey Troll for capturing all of these doots every single day. I think today is like day number 590, and nonstop. I've only filled in for him a couple of times, so shout out to Turkey Troll. Thank you. And also thank you to the A Word for curating this beloved weekly list. This is the best of the best from the last week, according to the A Word. It's all very subjective. As always, if you know somebody that wants to jump on the podcast with us, send them my way. I'd love to interview all kinds of people. And it just so happens in the last 48 hours, I managed to grab 3 different guests. One is colony.io. Let's see. And then after that, I think I've got Diva staking, and I'm pretty stoked about the Diva staking coming back on. There was a faux pas on my end. That's French for faux pas. And what happened was my audio was shit. But Diva has some updates for us, and Superfizz is coming along. Superfizz wants to co-host that, which is going to be really nice to see him along for the ride for Diva Labs. And then Lantern.finance is live. They are live with their staking package that you can get off of their website, and they are going to be on January 5th. So if you want to find all those dates, you can head to Ethfinance or on Twitter. Follow at EthFinanceR on Twitter, and then our Ethfinance obviously is our beloved home. And you can get those dates on your calendar. Those dates are also, if you didn't know this is kind of handy. If you didn't know this, you can go to ETHStaker, and ETHStaker has a calendar, and they've been so gracious to allow us some of the Google real estate on their calendar. So you can actually subscribe, I think, to the ETHStaker calendar and get the EVMavericks podcast dates. So if you know anybody that wants to join, I'd love to get them on here and fill up those gaps on the calendar. It's always fun to have a guest. Let's see. Okay, well, I guess we will just switch gears here and go straight over to our Daily Doots leaderboard. Oh, there's no numbers here. I'm going to start down here probably around Scientist at 59, K-Brod at 60, Hanniabu at 61, Set One Less at 66, 696 is at 74, and Tricky Trolls also at 74, neck and neck, as they would say. Benito 2030 at 80, Cryptowwow Currency at 84, Logri the Bard at 87, and Superfizz, man, dunking on everybody at 144. Great job, and to everybody on our rich list. All right, so it's time for our weekly doots. Let's see if he's got it updated here. Here we go. Thank you so much, Hanniabu. So yeah, here's the dates if you didn't get it. December 8th, Colony. December 15th, Diva Staking. And January 5th, Lantern Finance. Ooh, StakeWise is version 3 is live on mainnet. So there you go. If you're a StakeWise fan, want to get into that, version 3 is live. Our morning Trinity for this day, 5 Quat, chimes in Ethereum, uses Bing Video. Here we go, 88,557 hodlers, and we have added 5 more. I should ring a bell. That would be good if I could just have a little bell for ding, ding, ding every time for the number of people that join each week. So good to have you. Frank the Tank at $2,092. It's nice to see 2 in the number, especially in the thousands column. And $10.9. $10.9 with the ratio at 54. Very good. There's your Trinity. And you might be thinking, wow, there's more than 3 things on there. Well, that's how we roll, damn it. Okay. We're going to call it the Trinity, even though there's like 5 different things or 4 different things. Weekly Haiku, courtesy of JS Tears. A tale incomplete where banks cannot compete. No one hits delete. Ooh, man, that is a good one. Thank you so much, JS Tears. How does he do it? How does he do it? And our ship post of the week, because we always like to save the best for first. User seat is occupied. Matter of fact, now that I think about it, I think seat is occupied might be... I think they have. Maybe this is their first Doot ever, and it ended up being on the shitpost of the week. I'd have to look that up. Altcoin Nostalgia Series Part 1, Oyster Pearl, PRL. In this series, I want to take you on a trip through some of the most interesting shitcoins from the past. Wow, this is actually cool. Oyster Pearl wanted to revolutionize online advertising and give website owners an alternative and private way to monetize their content. The idea was that website owners could insert one line of code and visitors would contribute their spare computing power and storage space to support the protocol. And let's see, in return, they would earn PRL tokens. The data would be stored on the IOTA Tangle. There was also a second coin called Shell. PRL was extremely hyped in 2017. Right before the Binance listing, one of the team members did some insider trading. The anonymous founder, Bruno Bloch, wasn't cool with that and rug pulled the whole project, minting and dumping more PRL coins. After that, some team members founded Opacity and airdropped tokens to PRL holders, and that project also died. Bruno founded a new scammy project called Akoya, and airdrop tokens as well. Of course, it died. There were some mental health issues involved. $5,000 banana. Apparently, he was caught on a yacht with safes full of gold bars. Amir Bruno Elmani got 4 years in prison for tax evasion. My gosh. That was like a trifecta of gross, huh? So, user seat is occupied. That is your shitpost of the week, and that is wonderful. Actually, that is really good. I hope that you are able to keep up this lore of the altcoin nostalgia series. I like it. God, I like it. There's so many stories out there that you could put into a short reference letter of shitcoins, right? And like not every project that died was really shit. It's just hard to get ahead, but there is a ton of shit out there, isn't there? Like, why do you need a token for this? You could just use Bitcoin or you could just use Ethereum or whatever. All right. Okay, here we go. Moving on. Fimar House shares a deep dive on the Kyber exploit. A deep dive by Doug Colkett on the Kyber exploit. Careful manipulation to make the pool believe it has more liquidity than it does, then extract real funds through his phantom liquidity. That's kind of like fractionalized reserve banking, right? I don't want to kick anyone while they're down. The Kyber guys are good devs working hard, so let's hope for a good resolution. For what it's worth, the hacker has signaled through blockchain messages he would be willing to talk today. And this is the one where he's like, I must take a nap first. Yeah, here it is. Negotiations will start in a few hours when I am fully rested. That is such like a Austin Powers Dr. Evil line. But musing about security in the abstract, I have to say I felt for a long while the engineering in Kyber seemed overcomplicated. I once got stuck in one of their farms, and without the team solving it for me, I would have been screwed. This is different from Uniswap or Aave, where you can figure out the contracts on your own as an intermediate user. Complex protocols have greater attack surface. Sanity checks like one block delays on TVL-sensitive actions seem like low-hanging fruits to avoid catastrophic exploits. Kills flash loan abuse, for starters. I get that those are tough calls. How do you implement such edge case checks without hurting genuine composability? But surely there must be some threshold of liquidity past which we have reasonable confidence no legitimate use would occur because of slippage. But then again, the concentrated liquidity design implies all of the liquidity in one tick can very well be a legitimate swap. Okay, so basically X times Y equals K. As per Uniswap v2 may have been capital inefficient, yet the simplicity was elegant in more ways than one. I'm glad I don't work on AMMs. Thank you, Fimar How, for that contribution regarding the Kyber exploit. And as always, if anybody wants to chime in on the Out of the Peanut Gallery, go ahead at any time. You can interrupt whenever you want. All right, ETH 2353 shares Stakewise's upcoming upgrade. All right, Stakewise fans, here you go. I just wanted to let the good folks in here know Stakewise's version 3 launch is just around the corner. The V2 V3 contract migration proposal is live on their governance forum, and the snapshot vote has reached quorum with 100% approval for now. Their V3 architecture brings some big advantages. For example, solar stakers can create their own private, if they like, vault and mint an LST against it. If you want to get a feel for what it will look like, I suggest you browse through the testnet vaults at testnet.stakewise.io. Sorry, I'm getting text here and I want to make sure it's not my kids. Okay. It took more than a year since their version 3 announcement to get to this stage, and I'm proud to have contributed in a small way myself, as well as by adding remote signer support to their operator service. Even though this post may feel like it, I am not in any way affiliated with Stakewise. I just appreciate all of the work that went into this, and I haven't seen this been discussed in recent days. This gives stakers who can't stake at home a lot more choice and will hopefully keep Lido's power in check. All right, very good. E2353. Thank you for sharing this Stakewise update, and keep them coming. User Stablecoin answers some questions about Chainlink CCIP. What is CCIP? Anybody in the peanut gallery want to help me out with that? Number one, does this potentially solve liquidity fragmentation? Basically, it should unlock all possible liquidity on all chains if it integrates CCIP into the protocol functions. Synthetics, SNX, is doing just that for helping to launch SUSD liquidity products on top of Base and Arbitrum, I believe. Like many things, protocols need to be built from the ground up or upgraded to support it. Number two, does this effectively move the security from Ethereum to Chainlink, or would it be better to say it moves security from a lot of shitty bridges to Chainlink, which is arguably an improvement? Answer, it more or less just replaces bridges, and the biggest security improvement is you can remove honeypots that are on the bridge contracts. Honeypots that are the bridge contracts. The bridge contracts themselves, apparently. No longer do you need to store all the assets into one place, with one potential vulnerability always looming. If you attack the Chainlink feeds CCIP features, it's going to be more like having to attack all the ETH nodes to get your unsanctioned blockchain instruction in. Chainlink node distribution will help secure bridging as long as the feeds are also proven to be secure. Okay, very good. If anybody knows what CCIP is, just drop it in the chat. That's an acronym I'm not familiar with, so thank you. Let's see. Whack, whack, attack. Bing, bang, bada, boom from Rocket Pool shares the latest Lido effery. Lido is up to it again. In this Twitter post, Nero shows how a Lido node operator, P2P.org, run by a Lido co-founder, has announced it will start waiting to produce blocks. Oh, shit. There's a function called getHeader that the block proposer is supposed to call at a time equals 0. But node operators have until time, which equals 4 seconds, to help home operators who might have latency issues. By waiting to call that function, they will get up to 4 seconds of more MEV into their blocks. The impact this will have is they'll further centralize the Ethereum network to orgs who have the ability to still produce blocks while waiting the longest amount of time. Home operators or decentralized services would not be able to wait so long because they're more likely to fail in block production. People will go to services that give them the best yield in LSTs without thinking about the potential impact on the Ethereum network. Lido literally have a golden goose in their position, but they're killing it. It's extremely short-sighted, and it might have horrendous impacts for the rest of us stakers. Please speak out against this. Thank you, Whack Whack Attack. Keep up the good fight out there, and Whack Whack has been making it on the Daily Doots quite a few times over the last week, and I'm really glad that they're doing that because they're Whack Whack is bringing in a lot of updates right into the daily, which is fantastic. So hats off to you, Whack Whack Attack. Thanks for bringing that up. That's something, isn't it? The Lido they're going to be able to soak up all that MEV. And that's just going to make it even more attractive to like ignorant people. And ignorant people run the world in large crowds, unfortunately. Bago Gel 12 has an update from the Kyber Swap hack. Kyber Swap fell victim to a sophisticated exploit amounting to approximately $50 million on November 23rd, as reported by Rect.News. This incident involved an in-depth comprehension of the underlying code to exploit it. Fimar Howe reported already on the technical details. The exploiter displayed a peculiar level of psychopathic behavior, leaving on-chain messages throughout the exploit to explain their actions. The final message they left was, Dear Kyberswap developers, employees, DAO members, and LPs, negotiations will start in a few hours when I am fully rested. Thank you, Dr. Evil. Kyberswap chose to extend a 10% bounty to the hacker with 90% intended for restitution. What makes this incident even more disturbing is the fact that during the hack, an MEV bot operator was able to capture 5.7 million from Kyber by front-running the exploiter. The deal has now been struck for the return of 90%, with the remaining 10% awarded to the front-run bot operator, and there's a tweet for a source. Morale does not seem to exist in the crypto landscape. Morale or morals? The situation draws parallels to the Euler hack, evoking a sense of déjà vu, which is French for déjà vu, for those who have experienced similar events. Notably, the exploiter received a message from the original Euler Finance exploiter wallet shilling some meme coin, and I didn't link it. Yeah, thank you. In the midst of difficult circumstances, it is important to not lose hope and expect the best possible outcome. Christmas is soon. Speaking from the experience as a victim of the Euler hack myself, navigating the aftermath won't be easy. I hope those among our community who have been impacted by the Ethfinance incident can navigate through their losses with resilience. And there's comments in the daily from several people in our community that were affected. Resilience and risk management remains a key virtue in the crypto realm. Remember, don't put all of your eggs or ETH in one DeFi protocol. Whew. I want to open up these comments on Reddit, see if there's any low-hanging fruit. Justin B. Ether, never thought Kyber would be the one to have an exploit that wrecked me. Participated in their ICO 6 years ago. Shit. Mr. Vodkin, yeah, these are all notable names. Look at all these people that are on the Doots list that have been here. Man. Okay. Thanks for sharing the update on that. Hopefully everybody gets a little haircut and we get some restitution back. User Stablecoin shares news of Ethereum GPT, and user Johnny Dap ETH suggests one for Ethfinance. So this chat GPT for developers is from Buddha Tribot or Buddha. And I'm showing the original tweet here. I built Ethereum GPT, which was trained with a consensus layer API specifications. If you're a builder looking to access some specific data or just have a question about staking, thank you, my friend. So I'm going to put this in the chat here. So if you guys want to save this tweet, you can. If you didn't already have it, popped it in over on the Discord chat room. Wow, welcome in everybody. Good to see everybody over on Sidebar on Discord, and to all of our viewers on YouTube. Hey, we got somebody watching on YouTube. Hey, Mom. All right, let's see. Going back to the Daily Doots. Johnny, okay, so user stablecoins post today got me thinking about developing an Ethfinance GPT. that can answer newcomers' questions, responds to frequently asked questions, dispels the frequently misunderstood FUD, and overall encapsulate the spirit of Ethfinance to provide an unbiased guidance. Ooh, so like when it responds, can it be like cheers and big hugs from artificial intelligence land, or could it be like be welcoming first, right? In that Super Fizz's deal. Talk to each other like you're in the same room, damn it. Also, here's some code for you. Okay. For those of you who don't know, GPTs are specialized tools capable of retrieving facts from an external knowledge base. This allows LLMs, that's large language models, to utilize that information to generate answers. They can also follow instructions provided by the creator and have API access, as well as internet access, including an image generation tool. We have a plethora of content that can serve as the knowledge base, such as the Daily Doots, the EVMavericks Discord, ETF forums, blog posts by prominent users, educational content, discussions on decentralization, tokenomics, technical analysis, Twitter posts, and even memes. A curated knowledge base can be provided to a community-funded GPT, and perhaps even a Reddit bot could be created to interact with this GPT through posts. Unfortunately, I only have time to read through the dailies, so I won't be able to spearhead this effort. However, if someone else is interested in pursuing this, please feel free to do so. That's pretty rad, huh? So I don't know a whole lot about how this works in terms of like Reddit API stuff being withdrawn. What can we do here, right? I need to get Hanniabu in touch with a friend of mine, this guy named Algo from Palisades, because he might be able to help bring some of this stuff together. So if anybody in the peanut gallery wants to chime in on this, please unmute and hit it. It's pretty neat. Hopefully we can get... Man, that is inspiring, isn't it? How do we do it? It's like the ideas are one thing, but the implementation and development are completely different. All right. AJ Monkfish. Oh, shit. Yeah, I'm not excited about this one. AJ Monkfish brings very sad news from a longtime contributor and later explains how it happens. Well, fun. Guys, it's been fun. It looks like my private key was compromised and my wallet was drained. No idea how my key got compromised. About 7 hours ago, fast asleep at this time, some crook opened up my wallet and drained my Aave position and absconded with about 15 ETH and $600 worth of shit coins. And that is all I had left. And then they share their ETH address here for everybody to see. It's all there. 2 days, 7 hours ago, this took place. Gosh damn. Thank you so much for the kind words and advice. In case you missed my earlier post, my wallet got drained by a nasty man. Could have been a lady. And unfortunately, I had 15 ETH in an Aave position and about $800 worth of shitcoins I had recently FOMO'd into. Gone. Never to be seen again. I have a separate PC for crypto stuff, and I thought this was enough to keep me safe. I'm wrong. So very wrong. I clicked on a dodgy update Chrome link on my work laptop yesterday, not realizing that I had sync turned on in Chrome, meaning MetaMask and my seed phrase vault were on there. What? MetaMask and my seed phrase vault. That's the only way I can think this had happened. Please excuse me as a cautionary tale. And be more careful with your crypto. Here's the address that got drained when I was getting my kids ready for school. Fudge. Feel free to do some sleuthing. This is beyond me. This is heartbreaking, man. This is so fucking heartbreaking. Pardon my French. And I was reading these. I want to go back to Reddit because I was reading some of the replies. So for anybody in here that this happens to, this is the one. This is the one that. There was a comment in here that resonated with me. Boy, look at this. 696 Duder 74 replying. Look at all these OGs replying and helping out. But this was I'm trying to find the post that basically said, don't let anybody tell you. I gotta find it. Let me find it real quick.
There was another post in the same daily that one might be under.
Okay, let me make sure. Hi, Low Green. Good to have you, bud. Okay, let me go back. Let me go back to this one because the reply that stood out to me is the one that everybody needs to hear.
I think I replied to the second post. So if you just search for my name, something will pop up. I don't have that many posts in the daily.
Well, it was. I don't know if it was you that had said, but the
No, I
sentiment.
wasn't the one that said it, but I was just saying you could find the second top level post because
Yeah,
there was two top level posts.
yeah, I got it. Yeah. So, Welp, guys, it's been fun. There's this one. I'm sorry to hear this, Super Fizz, and then this one here. So I got both of them up, I believe. Anyway, the sentiment, and thank you, Logri. The sentiment was, uh, don't let people convince you that, uh, it was your security that got you in trouble. It was this or that or the other. That these are criminals. It's the same. It's the same as when you lock your door at your house. We all know there's a way to get in anyway. You could break a window. You could do whatever. They are the criminal. We are the victims when this shit happens. So yes, having a great instead of like victim blaming, because that does go on a lot in crypto. And so the sentiment is no matter what, they are the criminal. And I the second thing I would offer, and I say this to everybody that this shit happens to, is that you definitely make a police report. In my case, I had to fill out the police report for the officer because they didn't know what Bitcoin or blockchain was. So when you make the police report, what it does is it starts a paper trail. And so what you can do is also you can also elevate it to the React Force team. Just get the paper trail started. And what may be able to happen is, eventually that blockchain doesn't lie, right? And so as time goes on, I mean, yeah, are your funds gone? Yes, I'm not giving you any hope. But what I'm saying is when you make reports, it gets law enforcement, a paper trail has to be started. And in my particular case, the paper trail that I started when I lost, it was in like 2016 or something like that. It was like 40 some odd ETH out of Kraken. It ended up being long story short, the blockchain metadata that came out of that transaction from Kraken ended up being corroborated with other evidence around the nation, and they were able to zone in on the guy that was part of a possible group of people, and that guy eventually did go to prison. Now, that doesn't mean that I'm going to get a penny back, but it does mean that it can lead somewhere because the blockchain data is out there. And so the more than likely, this could have been a state actor for all you know. That sync, I'm confused though. This MetaMask vault, they mentioned this MetaMask vault, with the sync where uh, am I reading this wrong? Like, did they just figure out the guy's password to his MetaMask and maybe just brute forced it, and then exported the private key? That part I'm unclear on, but it doesn't matter. They are the criminal. They are the ones who broke into this guy's account, and he's got kids, and now he's got freaking 15 ETH and $600 worth of shit coins. I just start building, man. Just keep building, move forward, start over, don't quit. You know.
And
He's a Duder 6, by the way. So he's been around for a long time. So big hugs to AJ Monkfish.
and when you rebuild, this isn't victim blaming.
No, I understand. I
But
get it.
please don't have a hot wallet. we how many? I mean, there are a lot of warnings about that,
Yeah, I get it.
and
I get it.
I think I replied to the post on that. But like I wrote a post called "The Weakest Link." Go look into it. It gives you like 6 different options of layers of security you can add depending on how paranoid you want to be on this. But even the most basic of them would have prevented something like this because with a hardware wallet, you have to sign a transaction with a physical button for them to steal something from you. So it doesn't matter if they corrupt your computer, right?
Yeah.
And any hardware wallet will do that. I have some that I like more. I have some that I like less, of course. But that function alone is well worth a couple dollars. If you just lost 30 ETH, that was 60 grams, right? So was it worth $80 to try and prevent that? The risk reward of not having a hardware wallet is just not there.
What
Have a
is
hardware wallet.
it's not about the money, right? Like in my when people are like, "Gee, that's kind of an expensive hardware wallet," but you're protecting the opportunity. You're protecting the opportunity for 10 years from now. You know what I mean? The opportunity cost is there. So, it's not ridiculous to like spend $300 on a hardware security model if you're protecting like even $1,500 to $2,000, because the opportunity of that later on, putting those measures in place sooner than later, there's it just makes sense. With construction workers will buy $250 work boots to go work a $30 an hour job. The opportunity is that you're keeping your feet in better shape for the long term, instead of buying cheap shit and hoping for the best. You don't go out in $5 flip flops. You got to think of it as your tools for your opportunity later on, even if it doesn't exist right now. Man, I hate those stories, but it's just a freaking sad reality. And yeah, don't go anywhere, AJ. We need you. Keep dooting away. Stick around. You'll build again. I believe in you. Okay. Let's see. And I think we're about time. Oh, Timmerweb. Timmer WB, I always say Timmerweb, reminds us how tried and tested cold wallet seed phrase. Here we go. Seed phrases are for security, and the Ethmeister, great username, shares their own diversification strategy for secure storage. Timmer WB, at risk of tediously adding to the security discussion, risk is always an interesting subject. But in the several years I've been involved in crypto, if I recall correctly, among all the countless losses, hacks, exploits, compromises, and thefts that have occurred of between 4 and 9 figures in value, and some of which have sadly involved members of our community, raise his hand, I don't believe a single one of them was involved. Sorry, I don't believe a single one has involved the loss, discovery, or theft of a physical passphrase, including a physical hardware wallet. It's worth adding that during the Ledger leak, which included numerous active names and addresses, LOL, it's still hard to believe. Yeah, no shit. That's me interjecting the no shit part. There was mucho concern about wrench attacks. Again, as far as I know, not a single compromise occurs directly because of that leak, and not a single physical theft was attempted, although clearly email addresses got phished to death after that. I'm going to pause there for a second because there was a family in Switzerland or Sweden, I think in Sweden recently. Now, obviously, they're not going to say how they knew the guy had crypto. I think it might have been, I don't remember what it was, but he had a family of 4 that was like, they were like held hostage for a while, if I recall. But yeah, he's right though. I mean, it's exceedingly rare, it would seem. Okay. As such, the risk of loss is overwhelmingly associated with getting phished. Yes. Or usually mistakenly storing credentials, including centralized exchange accounts on hot computers. For most people, the best practice and good basic digital hygiene will ensure your crypto is safe. Remember that security is an ongoing process. I love that. That's true. If you create a new wallet, generating the seed or passwords is not the first step. You should already know what the wallet will be used for, the associated risks, how you are going to secure it, and how you will maintain that security. Don't be tempted to just jot down the seed temporarily, etc. Give yourself time to learn and understand the process before committing funds. Stay safe out there. To add the discussion, the Ethmeister chimes in. about crypto security, my personal approach is to have about 20% in centralized exchanges and the rest split up among several hardware wallets. So if any single wallet gets compromised, I can somewhat triangulate the cause of the hack. If you use Trezor, you can create multiple wallets on one device using the passphrase function, which in concept should protect you if your main seed phrase gets leaked or discovered. If you do need to use MetaMask, you can create a separate wallet solely for your Trezor and don't have to store your seeds in an online vault. This should, by the way, someday is dark. Thank you for that heads up about the MetaMask encrypted file. Yeah, so that's the vault. Okay, and it came up here again. This should maintain the security of the hardware wallet while also allowing interoperability with dApps. Unfortunately, MetaMask seems to be the most compatible with dApps because it is the most popular and is a highly visible target for hackers and viruses. Lastly, as to my centralized exchange allocation, I know, quote, not your keys, not your coins, unquote, but having a sizable amount gives me a higher transaction and withdrawal amount or limit. So, also, if I need to liquidate assets quickly, I could do so on my phone without having to tinker with my Trezor. Knocks on wood. I haven't had to re-verify my account and perform KYC for the past 4 years. Always make sure to whitelist your withdrawal addresses. This is good stuff. If anybody wants to chime in, go ahead. All right.
Yeah, I mean, an exchange is it's kind of like a limited version of a policy-based access control, right? You can have things like a withdrawal whitelist so that they can only withdraw to approved addresses for 48 hours. And you can have things like, oh, I can trade my money back and forth, and I might make a stupid trade, but I can't just send my money out, right?
There's also two-factor authentication on that withdrawal, too.
Yeah,
at least Kraken had that.
Yeah,
that was handy.
So if his point is, oh my God, what if I'm on vacation in Hawaii and then ETH goes up 40% and I hit my sell target? Can I sell in a hurry? Or if there's a hack or something and I can get ahead of it and sell before the price crashes? If that gives you some peace of mind, that's totally fine. It's just a matter of managing your risk, right? Know that if that 20% gets compromised, everyone on the internet's going to be saying, not your keys, not your coins, and you're going to feel like an idiot. But I think there are reputable exchanges, and I think that's only become more true as regulation sets in, as like quality regulation sits in, that makes it possible for them to comply while protecting consumers, right? Which is good.
Ethmeister in the chat. He says, I'm here. Laugh out loud. Going to Hawaii in a couple of months, actually.
I know.
That's what timing.
HodlerCon, man.
There you go. That's awesome. Good stuff. Yeah, I didn't mean to interrupt. Go ahead, unless you were done.
Oh, I'm done. Good.
All right. Let's see. Switch back over here. Rob is bullish on Ethereum Sol. I don't know if that's how you say this. RO__ -B, but I'm going to say Rob. Cryptocurrency is more than just an economic platform. Wow, this is going to be a good one, I think. Even though it has properties as some commodities, it's not just a commodity. Ideally, there is a purpose, values, and culture. Besides the protocol, we need the social consensus. People that keep up the values such as decentralization. In a sense, it's like a religion. People need to believe in it. And in order for people to believe in certain properties, need to be satisfied. And when you believe in something, you naturally start to evangelize. Whatever Vitalik has said in public was genuine and well thought through. There are so many people that speak for Ethereum and hold up its values. Whenever somebody of these does something harmful, the community holds them accountable. In my view, the same standards are not met by other cryptocurrencies. Definitely not by Solano. Ethereum has a soul. It's more than just an ultrasound decentralized smart contract platform. And for these reasons, it has cultural relevance. A tokenized meme very often derives its value from being on Ethereum, and everyone who creates digital art wants to have it issued on the most pristine platform. I'm certainly among the worst people to keep up these values, but I do rest assured because I know that there are many people better than me precisely doing that. And they're doing it very well. So all this cultural relevance, this community ethos, and these people that have conviction and believe in Ethereum make me bullish long term. Because in the end, precisely these values is all we need to succeed. Roar. Very good. Yeah, I get I get the idea of the religious sentiment, but we should pump the brakes maybe a little bit on that. But yeah, in general, that's pretty good. That is really pretty spot on. I think the ethos is why a lot of us are here, right?
Feels like less and less of us every year, but yes, that's what started this.
Yeah, I'm looking at the next Degen Colo Tour updates the Kyber exploit and Web of Trust shares the latest message.
Have you seen this? This is hilarious.
Okay, so I wasn't sure because I think there was an accident on the posting where it didn't have his username, but now, okay, so this is legit. All right, so Degen Colo Tour, I hope I'm saying that correctly. Dear Kyber Web executive employees, token holders, and LPs. I said I was willing to negotiate. In return, I have received mostly threats, deadlines, and general unfriendliness from the executive team. That's okay. I don't mind. I have prepared a statement concerning our potential treaty. I plan to release it on November 30th at noon Universal Time sharp. Under the assumption that I am treated with further hostility, we can reschedule for a later date when we all feel more civil. You only need to say the word. If not, we proceed as planned on November 30th. Thank you. And then there's an Ethereum transaction that
just, it was a non-chain message. That's all that means.
Yeah. I figured as much.
Go then. All right. Okay. Now we get to the real one.
Okay. This is a must read. A new message from Kyber Exploiter. Their demands are not like others we have seen, and interested to see how the story developed between hacker and Kyber. User funds are at stake. Control paste below. Okay, to all relevant and or interested parties, I thank you for your attention and patience during this uncertain time for Kyber, as well as Kyber the company. Below, I have delineated a treaty for us to agree to. My demands are as follows. Complete executive control over Kyber the company. Bullet 2. Temporary full authority and ownership over the governance mechanism in order to enact legislative changes. My current wallet address is fine for this. Bullet 3. All documents and information related to the company and protocol formation, structure, operation, revenues, profits, expenses, assets, liabilities, investors, salaries, etc. And another bullet. Surrender all Kyber, the company assets. This is both on-chain and off-chain assets. It includes, but not limited to, shares, equity, tokens, partnerships, blogs, websites, servers, passwords, code, social channels, any and all creative and intellectual property of Kyber. Once my demands have been met, I will provide the following. Executives, you will be bought out of the company at fair valuation. You will be wished well in your future endeavors. You haven't done anything wrong. A small error was made, rounding in the wrong direction. It could have been made by anyone. Simply bad luck. Employees, under the new regime, your salary will be doubled. It is understandable that many current employees will want to leave regardless. The employees who don't want to stay will be given a 12-month severance with full benefits and assistance in finding a new career, no questions asked. Token holders and investors, under this treaty, your tokens will no longer be worthless. Is this not sweet enough? I'll go further still. Under my management, Kyber will undergo a complete makeover. It will no longer be the seventh most popular DEX, but rather an entirely new cryptographic project. And finally, LPs, you will be gifted a rebate On your recent market making activity, the rebate will be for 50% of the losses you have incurred. I know this is probably less than what you wanted. However, it is also more than you deserve. This is my best offer. This is my only offer. I require my demands to be met by December 10th. Otherwise, the treaty falls through. Additionally, should I be contacted by agents from any of the 206 sovereignties concerning the trades I placed on Kyber, the treaty falls through. In this case, rebates will total to exactly zero. Kyber is one of the original and longest running DeFi protocols, and no one wants to see it go under. To assist with this transition of leadership, I may be contacted on Telegram at Kyber Director. Thank you. What? What the? Are
This
you
has got to.
serious?
No, the thing is, this has got to be master trolling, right? Because, like, okay, what legal entity should I surrender the office of Kyber to, right? What should the mailing address be? Like, uh, yeah, I mean, he can't possibly be that stupid, right?
Right. That would
So,
definitely get him
so
like
he's
locked
he's
up.
just twisting the knife in a kind of psychopathic way while appearing to be professional. But there's no court of law that
That would
will
support
uphold.
that.
Yeah, exactly, right? Even if they sign off, even if they agree to leave, even if they get paid out, it's under coercion, right? It's the same reason that like a police officer can't like put you in the backseat and have sex with you because there's an imbalance of power. It's under duress. Consent under duress is not legally binding. So it's like it's incredible. It's wonderful popcorn, but I can't imagine this is anything other than masterful trolling and a psychopath twisting a knife, right?
It's
And
beautiful.
injecting chaos. I mean, it's designed to hurt, right? And it's designed to cause chaos in a Kyber boardroom. But like this, yeah, it can't actually be possible. Even if they wanted to, even if they were like, okay, we'll totally do that, it still can't actually be possible. And if they tried, to like what? Give him the admin address and say, "Let us know how you want us to sign on the dotted line or whatever." It would just dox him, and he'd go to jail. Right? There's no court that would uphold any signature that they could give him. So I don't know what I'd do in their situation. I'd probably work with the police. In order to say, "Well, we're going to transfer." Admin over to his address or something, or what would you do in this
I
situation?
would
What
go
part of that?
I would go fishing. I
Yeah,
would just do one piece at a time until
obviously, I'd subpoena Telegram and say, "Yo, what phone number was that registered with?"
this again goes back to filing a police report. When I got hacked, I was able to get the police to subpoena AT&T for an affidavit. I can't remember what the word is, but basically AT&T had to respond. This is when I got SIM swapped. AT&T legally had to respond with a letter stating that indeed that my account was fraudulently blah blah blah. So what I'm saying is there's no way to like just hand all that stuff over on December 10th. So just start throwing out the crumbs. Throw out the things that are kind of like the low hanging fruit until whoever that is has to sign something with some kind of agency. I mean, I can't imagine that there's start
Yeah,
with the employees. Start with the
yeah,
people that are papered employees with their affiliated government structures, and then whoever's going to be taking over the LLC for Kyber, the company or whatever. I don't know. There's some mandated reporting in there somewhere. Like just see if maybe I don't know. Whatever. I think it's a mastered troll. I think it's brilliant. We'll see what comes of it.
if I had to start pulling on a thread, I'd probably start pulling on the Telegram account that he posted.
Sure.
In order to make a Telegram account, you have to put in a phone number. What's it going to be? Google Voice?
Mm,
Okay, go subpoena Google. It's going to be what? Linked to an email address? Is there an email address that you can sign up for right now that doesn't require like a mailing address and like that you sign up and receive an email and verify it to some other email address? I mean, he might have played bounce it like hot potato 5 times through various things, but like it's hard to completely it's hard to get a platform like Telegram to support a completely anonymous credential, right? They don't want to do it by law. So maybe pull on that. And otherwise you can start doing the usual IP things of like to what node was that transaction originally submitted to the mempool, and then what jurisdiction is he likely in, or at least what VPN was he using when he connected to the node, right? I mean, it seems to be an English-speaking native, so I'd say that limits your search area a bit.
And for what it's worth, a letter like an ultimatum and like this idea of this treaty, that's gonna spur on people who would have ordinarily not paid attention to trying to sleuth out the hacker. Now they just kick the bear with all that, and now it's like a
Yeah.
game. It's a game for a whole lot of people that they didn't think they were going to be that interested. Now they're going to be sitting up and paying attention and getting interested just to see if they can blockchain analyze this shit a little bit. We'll see. We'll see what happens. But
There's definitely gonna be popcorn. I know that much. But
yeah, we'll know more
outside of that,
next week.
I'll say this guy at least seems to want to be. Once he took the money, he didn't send it to a Dex. He didn't send it to a Sex. He just sat on it, right? The money is just sitting in his address. So if he's willing to be patient on it, he can. This is the fault that the Euler hacker made, right? Immediately moved it, right? The what was the other hack recently? The Curve exploit, like immediately moved it, right? You can't go and like send stolen funds to KuCoin. That hasn't worked out for people, right? You can put it through Tornado Cash, but even then, like there's so many. It's so hard to get it perfectly right the first time if you're not experienced with this type of thing.
Yep.
It's so hard to get away with the money because you have to do everything right the first time, right? And this guy at least appears to be more competent than them. So maybe he will get away with it. But it's 60 million. It's not the biggest hack in DeFi. It's certainly disastrous for Kyber. I feel bad for their team. I've made money on the KNC token before. But like this isn't going to be the biggest problem in DeFi even this year, right? There's like 2 billion in crypto stolen every year. This is just like another drop in the bucket. You're not actually that important to history, dude. You're not like, you're not going to go down the history books as a guy that took over Kyber and saved everything. I promise you that. It's just not going to happen.
Yeah, we'll see where this ends up. It's interesting. All right. Well, I think that's going to wrap it up for today's show. Don't forget December 8th, Colony.io is coming on board for an interview. December 15th, Diva Staking and Lantern Finance on January 5th. And I'm in the works of trying to get in contact. Let me back up. A person reached out to me and they were going to give me a contact for somebody who has introduced legislation in the state of Wyoming for a stable coin. If any state in the U.S. could actually pull that off, I'd be shocked. But if they're willing to come on to the podcast, I would love to have them on here and see how that's going, because Wyoming is a pretty interesting state when it comes to crypto for sure. So hopefully we can get a date on the calendar with them. Stick around after the live stream because we continue the party in the hotel lobby on Discord for a bonus hour of popcorn. It's a fun place to let loose when the parents aren't watching on YouTube. Hi, Mom. On behalf of Ethfinance and the EVMavericks DAO, my name is JT. Cheers and big hugs from Kansas City.